Can you unlock the eyes of Sibiu, see Dracula's castle, and master the Transfăgărășan peaks in just 4 days? Most travelers think you have to white-knuckle hairpin mountain roads, but we're challenging you to follow this rail-only route instead, saving you hundreds while exploring from one perfectly placed base. No time to waste, let's get right into the first day. Day 1, the Sibiu Mastery. Sibiu's Old Town is compact enough to master in a single day if you start early. Base yourself in the upper town near Piața Mare, the Great Square, and nearly everything unfolds on foot from there. Look up and the city reveals its most distinctive feature. Those half-closed rooftop windows staring down at the streets are known as the Eyes of Sibiu. They date to the 15th century. Originally, they were built to ventilate attic storage spaces where Saxon merchants kept their goods. Later, locals joked they were watching for thieves. Today, they've become a quiet symbol of civic watchfulness, having even been adopted by Romania's anti-corruption movement with the slogan, "We see you from Sibiu." Whether or not they're judging your outfit remains an open question. Piața Mare anchors the historic core. Baroque facades frame the square, with the Brukenthal Palace dominating the northern edge. Inside sits Romania's oldest public museum, opened in 1817. The collection includes 1,200-plus European works, Van Eyck, Titian, and more. Even without stepping inside, this is a square that invites you to slow down. Walk through the archway beneath the council tower to reach Piața Mică, the small square. The tower, dating back to the 13th century, rewards visitors with sweeping views across the old town's terracotta rooftops, the watchful dormers, and on clear days, the distant Făgăraș Mountains. The climb is 141 steps with no elevator, but it's the cheapest panorama in Transylvania. Plan 20 to 30 minutes to take it all in. The Bridge of Lies carries you into the next plaza. Built in 1859, it's Romania's oldest surviving cast-iron bridge. The name likely came from a mistranslation. The German Liegenbrücke means reclined bridge and is a reference to its unsupported design. The legend stuck anyway. Dishonest merchants were supposedly thrown off, and lovers who swear false oaths are said to make it creak. Stand in the center and test your conscience. Cross into Piața Huet, and the Gothic Lutheran Cathedral rises ahead, the tallest structure in Transylvania at 73 meters. Inside sits the largest organ in Southeast Europe. On Wednesday evenings, during summer, concerts begin at 6 p.m. The tower climb here also deserves your effort. Dinner lands at Crama Sibiu Veche, tucked into a 15th century cellar just off the historic center. The menu sticks to Romanian classics, the portions are generous, and it's a simple, satisfying end to your first day. After dinner, take a slow walk back through the upper town. The crowd's thin, the rooftops glow under soft streetlights, and the route you covered during the day finally clicks into place. Day 1 complete. Sibiu's medieval core is officially conquered. Before we head into the mountains tomorrow, if you're loving this style of detailed planning, subscribe so you don't miss new itineraries each week. If you're watching on the big screen, the QR code takes you straight there. Day 2, the village and the highway. Your second day shifts from Sibiu's compact historic center to open countryside, then climbs into the mountains by afternoon without driving a single curve. Astra Open Air Museum is the first stop. Bus 13 leaves Sibiu train station, Gara, every 20 to 30 minutes with a 17 to 20 minute ride. You can pay on board with a contactless card. The yellow terminals accept Visa and MasterCard, and the stop is right at the entrance. Inside, 96 hectares of parkland hold more than 400 structures, from wooden churches and water mills to farmhouses and a reconstructed Danube Delta fishery. Paths wind through forests and along lakes, connecting rural regions from across Romania. 10 kilometers of walking trails crisscross the grounds, but 3 to 4 hours is enough to see the highlights without feeling rushed. Insider tip: grab a ticket at the entrance. Wear good shoes as the terrain is uneven, and you'll cover serious ground. Traditional food is available inside, so you can eat lunch without leaving. The Transfăgărășan Highway is often cited as one of the world's greatest driving roads. The problem is timing, because it's closed for roughly 8 months a year, and when it does open, those hairpin turns are shared with tour buses and overconfident motorcyclists who think they're on top gear. The smarter move is to skip the driving and take the cable car to Bâlea Lake. The cable car runs year-round, climbing from Bâlea Cascada to Bâlea Lake in about 20 minutes. When the road is closed, a shuttle runs from Talia Hall parking on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 9 a.m., returning by 4:30 p.m. Book at least 24 hours ahead. The shuttle drops you at the cable car, which operates separately and requires a minimum of 10 passengers, making weekends the safest bet. Otherwise, nothing says budget adventure like paying for 9 imaginary friends. When the road is open, the Bâlea bus runs to the lake itself, eliminating the need for the cable car. Regardless of how you get there, once you step out at the top, the real objective is the scenery. You are standing at over 6,000 feet at a glacial lake carved directly into the jagged peaks of the Carpathians. To get your bearings, start by walking the perimeter of the water. It's a crystal clear shoreline that takes about 20 minutes to circle and really lets the scale of the mountains sink in. But for the money shot you actually came for, don't just stay by the water. Follow the rocky path behind the Bâlea Chalet and hike up toward the ridge. From there, you get that iconic perspective of the Transfăgărășan highway snaking through the valley below. It's the ultimate shot for your reel, and you get it without the stress of being behind the wheel. If you need a break before heading down, grab a coffee or a snack at the Cabana Bâlea Lake, where the terrace sits directly over the water. And if you happen to be visiting between January and March, you can even walk through the Hotel of Ice, which is reconstructed every year using massive blocks carved directly from the frozen lake. By mid-afternoon, you'll head back down the cable car to meet your shuttle, putting you back in the Sibiu Old Town just in time for a well-earned dinner. End the day at Culinarium in Piața Mică, where the focus is on refined Romanian cuisine served simply and without fuss. Reservations are recommended, especially on weekends. Bran Castle is the headline tomorrow, but the real challenge is getting there. Don't worry, stick to our order, and Dracula's castle lands in your lap by late morning. Day 3, the Castle Circuit. The third day is where this itinerary earns its keep because today, timing is the difference maker. Getting from Sibiu to Bran Castle without a car looks like a nightmare, but it's a straightforward 3-step process that most people only get wrong because they trust Google Maps over local logic. Follow this sequence exactly. Catch an early CFR, Romania's national rail train from Sibiu, ideally the 7 or 8 a.m. departure. The trip takes about 3 hours, and booking at least 24 hours ahead gives you the most flexibility once you reach the castle. You'll see 2 train options, Regio and Interregio. Same-day tickets must be bought at the station. In Brașov, buses to Bran do not leave from the train station. They depart from Autogara 2, about 3 kilometers away. Skip the bus and take Bolt or Uber to Autogara, Strada Avram Iancu. It costs a few dollars, and it takes under 10 minutes. When you arrive at the terminal, head for Platform 2 and look for the Transbus Codreanu buses. These run every 30 minutes during the week and hourly on weekends for the 50-minute ride to the village. Just a heads up, you pay the driver directly when boarding, so carry cash. The gates open at 9 a.m., Tuesdays through Sundays. But if you're visiting on a Monday, don't show up before noon or you'll be stuck waiting in the parking lot. To keep things moving, grab a skip-the-line ticket on the official site or through Get Your Guide. Now let's address the elephant in the room. The Dracula connection is almost entirely marketing. Vlad the Impaler probably passed through once or twice, but he didn't exactly call this place home. In reality, this was the summer residence of Queen Marie, so the vibe is less bloodthirsty warlord's lair and more aristocratic mountain retreat with excellent PR. The interior still merits your time, though. It's full of narrow passages, hidden staircases, and rooms filled with royal antiques. You'll want to set aside about an hour for the self-guided tour, or 90 minutes if you plan on wandering the grounds. Aim to be through the gates before 10 a.m. or wait until after 3 p.m. to have some actual breathing room. For a photo hack, walk down into the village and look for the small footpath that heads toward the stream behind the castle. From there, you get that classic towering Bran silhouette rising above the trees, with absolutely no selfie sticks in your frame. Since you're already at the transit hub, do yourself a favor and stay overnight in Brașov. The heart of the town is worth an evening stroll. The food scene is incredible, and most importantly, it sets you up perfectly for the final leg of the trip. For dinner, head to La Chaun. Set in the heart of the council square, it specializes in slow-cooked stews and regional pies, the kind of comfort food you need after a 4-hour transit mission. Trust us, you want to be well rested for tomorrow. We're taking one of the most scenic train rides in Europe to a palace that makes Bran look like a guest house. It's the royal finale and the one place in Romania most travelers regret missing. Day 4, the royal finale. The train from Brașov to Sinaia is easily one of the most scenic hours of rail travel in Romania. As you head south, the Prahova Valley begins to narrow and the forested Carpathian Mountains press in close on both sides. You're heading to Sinaia, the mountain resort town where Romanian royalty built their summer escape. Trains run roughly hourly, and the journey is quick. Once you arrive, you'll find Peleș Castle sitting about 2 kilometers uphill from the station. If the weather is nice, do yourself a favor and walk. The 30-minute route is genuinely pleasant, taking you past the ornate Sinaia Casino and the 17th century Sinaia Monastery. If you're not in the mood for an uphill hike, there are always taxis waiting at the station to whisk you up for a few dollars. Stop. Before you buy tickets, know this. Peleș Castle is closed on Mondays and Tuesdays, so plan your visit for Wednesday to Sunday to avoid a wasted trip. Doors open at 10 a.m. on Wednesday and 9:15 a.m. Thursday through Sunday. Last entry for individual tours is 4 p.m. For the full guided experience, arrive by 3:15 p.m. You can grab your tickets at the entrance, and English guided tours run throughout the day. There's no need for an advance reservation. You just join the next group forming at the door. Peleș delivers. King Carol I spent 40 years building this neo-Renaissance fantasy, and each room follows a completely different theme, from Turkish and Moorish to Florentine and German. The woodwork alone took decades to master, and the Arab room features nearly 40 pounds of gold leaf that took 20 years to complete. 20 years for one room. That's commitment. Now a quick heads up on the house rules. You're allowed to take photos inside as long as you don't use a flash, but the catch is that publishing those photos on social media is explicitly prohibited. The castle staff is very serious about this, and it can actually lead to legal action. Take the pictures for your own memories, but keep them off Instagram. Just a few steps away from the main palace is Pelisor Castle. While Peleș is all about royal grandeur, Pelisor was Queen Marie's personal Art Nouveau retreat. It's smaller, more intimate, and features a room literally covered in gold leaf. Allow at least 45 minutes here. It's the perfect palate cleanser after the intensity of the main castle. After 2 castles, you've earned lunch. Before you head back to the train station, walk over to Carol Gastro Pub. It's located on the path between the castles and the town center. It's a bit more upscale rustic, but after 4 days of travel, their venison goulash or a local craft beer is the victory lap you deserve. Now, as you prepare to leave Transylvania, remember the payment realities for your final stretch. Stick with Bolt or Uber for the trip back to Brașov or on to Bucharest. Street taxis are notorious for meter games, and the apps keep everyone honest. While cards are accepted almost everywhere, make sure you have some physical lei on hand for small souvenirs or station snacks. And whatever you do, avoid the blue and yellow Euronet machines unless you enjoy paying brutal transaction fees. If your flight leaves from Bucharest, Sinaia is your logical final stop. You can take a direct train to the capital and arrive in approximately 2 hours, putting you right at the airport doorstep. 4 days gives you Transylvania at its best. The castles, the mountains, and old squares that haven't changed in centuries, all without ever having to parallel park on a mountain cliff. So which moment would pull you in first? A. The watchful eyes of Sibiu. B. The cable car rising above the Transfăgărășan. Or C. The hidden courtyard at Bran. Drop your pick in the comments, and if you've been to Romania, share what surprised you most. If you're planning a Central Europe loop, check out our Vienna itinerary and Budapest's top 9 must-sees. Same structure, same crowd-beating strategies. In the words of G.K. Chesterton, the traveler sees what he sees. The tourist sees what he has come to see. See you in the next one.